Hey, what's up guys, Estrin here. So this is a video I wasn't quite sure if I was going to make or not, but I am making it now because you're watching it, so you know that. But so as you can see by the title, it's about Colin Moriarty. And if you don't know who he is, he was formerly of IGN and then formerly of Kind of Funny, now currently doing his own thing called Colin's Last Stand over on YouTube. And recently, I don't know if you want to call it a controversy, but there's this thing going on. He came out with this video on one of his channels. It's about online harassment and cyberbullying and stuff on social media and within the video game industry and all this stuff. The video is called Bullying, Harassment, and Abuse in the Video Game Industry, and it's on his channel, Colin's Last Stand Side Quest, which is his video game themed channel. And in that video, he has 3 specific cases where he talks about online harassment and talks about different people who have different experiences with it. The first one he mentions is a game developer. I forget the exact extent, but it's basically people harassing him and sending him threats and all kinds of stuff just related to just video game related things and development stuff. And the next one was a writer for, I think it was Alexa Ray. I'm not too familiar with her. I know I've seen her around on Twitter and stuff, but I forget for where she wrote the piece, but it was about the new Dragon Ball game coming out, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and how she was saying something about adding more female characters to the cast because there wasn't that many, and people were sending her like rape threats and all kinds of other sexual harassment type threats, and you see that a lot more towards women, obviously, because that's unfortunately just how it ends up being, and that's just horrible, and I really wish people would not do that. And then the last example he gave was about him, and that's kind of where the subject of this video I'm going to make lies. And he was talking about this one person has for years continuously kind of seemed like harassed Colin on Twitter. His name was Bob Mackey, I believe this guy's name was, and he always tweets at him or finds some sort of way to engage with him, even though I'm pretty sure Colin has him blocked on Twitter, and all this stuff. And this is the first time Colin's really opened up about it, and it was I was like, wow, this is a pretty awful situation. I mean, it's not the worst case of harassment in the world, but it's not great. And it was pretty great to see him open up about it and see stuff like that. And I thought the video was really great video. But then later on, I noticed someone shared it on Facebook, but then I saw it for like a glimpse, and then I was like, what was this? But then I had to go find it myself because I couldn't find it on Facebook, but the post must have got deleted. But Callie Pluggy, formerly of IGN, now of GameSpot, you might be familiar because there was she was involved with the Me Too movement recently because of there was I guess an incident when she was still IGN with sexual misconduct with another former IGN employee, Vincent Ingenito, and so she was involved in some kind of thing where she was being sexually harassed and stuff like that, and I'm sure she's been, being a woman in the games industry, media, and stuff like that. I'm sure she's seen her fair share of terrible, awful comments online, which are all wrong, and no one should be doing that. And but I saw her tweet about, she didn't tag Colin in it, but it was clear as day it was about him. Basically, the tweet said, "Nothing quite like watching a man complain about harassment that does not even come close to anything that women and people of color deal with just for existing, and then admitting that he didn't care about online harassment until it happened to him." So, yeah, and this tweet kind of angered me, in a way, and she got a point with the end part, but I feel like a lot of people kind of have that mindset. It's like, oh, I don't care about people getting mugged, and then they get mugged, and you're like, holy wow, I care about getting mugged now. Like, yeah, it's just like, oh, that's never going to happen to me, so I don't worry about it, and then it happens to you. It's just how the human mind works. It's not necessarily a great human trait, but it's just something that I noticed that a lot of people tend to be like. But so anyway, so basically she was saying that Colin, being a man, and specifically a white man, his harassment, with those quotes entailing, is not nearly as important or worth mentioning because of it, because he, again, being a white man, so his harassment doesn't matter, is basically what I take away from this tweet. And I'm not going to go through all the replies, but there was a bunch of it was kind of a mixed bag of replies. There's a bunch of people, and this is really nothing to have to do with your political, because Colin, the video game media it's pretty left wing, and Colin is one of the only conservative people in the video game media, like journalism stuff, not necessarily industry, because there's plenty of like developers or whatever that could be right wing in there, but they don't really talk about it because the media, whatever. That's not the point of the video, but I'm just gonna lay this out there. I kind of, in terms of my political views, I'm kind of more centrist. I kind of agree with a lot of points Colin makes. Some stuff I can disagree with him, but I can hear him like, maybe that's a good point. I'm not necessarily full agree, but I listen to a bunch of different people on all sorts of issues. Every time an issue comes out, they're like, I want to hear what he has to say, he has to say, he has to say, she has to say, she has to say, and he has to say. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I kind of get a good grasp of what's going on around here. But now that tangent's over, basically, so just different people who don't necessarily even like Colin or agree with Colin's political beliefs or whatever. They're just like, this is stupid. Just because he's this, his harassment doesn't matter. Some people's like, okay, yeah, just because his harassment isn't necessarily as bad as this doesn't mean, sorry, I just noticed I'm looking at the feed, my webcam froze. That's back now. It does that. I don't know why. Sorry. But just because he's a man, a white man specifically, his harassment, it doesn't mean as much, or just because his harassment doesn't mean, or just because harassment wasn't as bad as this different type of harassment doesn't mean it's not harassment. It's still bad, just because it's like, okay, it's like, here's his level of harassment, but here's your level of harassment. Doesn't mean that his level of harassment is insignificant. It's still harassment. It's still not okay. Just because it's not as bad doesn't mean it's okay. And then there's plenty of people who are just like, oh, you go, Callie, like, whatever, you're the best, blah, blah. And there's some people who's like, this is just awful. And I agree. And then it was either the next day or a few hours later, I wasn't following, because I used to follow her on Twitter, but I stopped because, like I said, I'm pretty centrist. I'm not all into I don't really use the term SJW except for joking around and stuff like that, but she was very like that type deal. But, so I had to unfollow her, stuff like that. But then I saw someone tweet that Colin blocked her on Twitter, basically, and she's like, all jokes are funny and safe spaces are for snow. Oh, because he blocked her, and because with that tweet, it was just sending a whole bunch of people, because people were tweeting, like adding him in that thread and making him see it and saying stuff about him. And if that was happening to me, I would do the same thing. I wouldn't want to deal with that. And Colin's been outspoken about it when he was on Kind of Funny and other stuff. He has anxiety. He deals with it. I'm sure he was dealing with all sorts of stuff. And after all this, he went on Twitter. He said he's taking a break from social media for a while. And I would too. And people are saying all sorts, like, oh, he's being a hypocrite and safe space. It's like, I don't think it's being a safe space. I think, it's like, I don't know, it's stupid. Basically, he made a video about how online harassment is bad, and then people harassed him for saying online harassment is bad. So that's basically the point of this video. And I don't know, I just think it's stupid. And I just really, in all honesty, when it comes down to politics in any form, people are just royal assholes to each other for no reason. Oh, we disagree on this one thing, but we agree on all these other things, so I hate you. And that's really what it comes down to, and it's stupid. And I don't know, I just wanted to make this video. Like I said, I don't know, you can hate me for it, but I am a big fan of Colin. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says. Like, I disagree with him more in video game stuff than I do in political stuff, but I do disagree with him in political stuff here and there. But he's a very smart guy. He makes a lot of sense when he talks. And I don't know. So I had to say, I just wanted to say this is stupid. Just because someone's harassment is not as bad, or someone's situation is not as bad as yours or someone else's, doesn't mean it's not wrong. Doesn't mean it's not worth being called out or something along the. I'm not exactly sure the right words to use right here. Just because someone's a white man doesn't mean that they don't deserve sympathy or something like that. That's the narrative I hear nowadays. You're a straight white cis man, so your problems don't matter. I hate that. Like, that's a vocal minority thought right there, but I hate hearing it because it's stupid. But that's the end of this video. I don't know, if you like this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think about the situation in the comments if you do happen to come by it in the YouTube sphere. And I don't know. That's about it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.